Hey guys, Ronan back. We're doing Ghost in the Shell today, Season 2, Episode 8, and it's called Fake Food. Speaking of food, hopefully you guys had a good Thanksgiving and Black Friday, and you got maybe some shopping done, who knows? I bought a coffee maker, and it's wonderful. I've been getting some good coffee lately. So we had a pretty good episode last time. That was with the plutonium episode. Basically, we just kind of found out more about how Goda is kind of a douche. It just kind of helped us solidify our opinion of him, basically. So, Section 9 doesn't really like him. They kind of didn't already, but now they really don't. We kind of think he's up to no good, and he doesn't really seem to care, as I keep pointing out. This episode here kind of sounds like more of like a standalone episode, so we could take a little break from Goda, maybe. I don't know. I'm not seeing any parallels between that and what we got going on here with the main arc. So we're gonna go ahead and dive on in. If you guys haven't yet, please like, comment, subscribe, and thank you to my patrons on Patreon for supporting me this far. We might be on the last day of the poll, or it could be done. I'm not sure, but we have a poll up for what show takes over Wolf's Reign. So if you haven't yet and want to vote, please do so. It only requires $1 on Patreon, and you get to cast your vote. I think we got a couple ties going on, but I figured out a way to get around that if it becomes a tie situation, but we'll see what happens. So anyway, let's go ahead and dive on in. So I started recently doing a playthrough for Detroit Become Human, and it's been kind of cool touching base with that game in regards to us watching Ghost in the Shell at the same time. There's a few parallels. I would say both stories are still very different. Detroit is kind of more about, a bit more like civil rights heavy in regards to rights for AI and things like that.
Dig up anything on him?
That must be the fake food, all that pizza.
Their protection's tougher than I thought. But after all, the intelligence agency is the newest administrative organization. They related to the gathering and analysis of foreign and domestic information.
Or Bulma.
Influence investigatory committee that Goda's assigned to. Not to mention SDA activity as well.
Oh, we're still looking into Goda. Okay.
Goda was a member of a group that was headhunted from the Defense Policy Bureau.
Again, I don't think I could work around her. At least, I mean, I could work around her, just not be productive.
It's how he looked when he was in the DPB. He apparently had some kind of terrible accident, but for whatever reason, he chose to leave his injuries the way they were.
He looks better now.
Oh, man. Straight from an all-nighter to a lunch meeting.
Looks like the team is individual episodes. That's what that one said. The team's working hard, though.
It's regarding a response to a string of incidents that have been occurring lately. Section 9 needs to lay out its policy.
Fine, but I'd like to punch out that son of a bitch first.
Calm down. I don't like it any more than you do.
Let's be chill, guys. Be chill.
Making a lot of trips to see the Prime Minister. Don't you think it's the PM herself who wants to strap a short tether on us to keep us in check?
The lady might not be a friend, but she's definitely not a foe.
I agree.
At this time, it remains uncertain as to how the CIS is intending to use events like these and to what end.
Isn't that true for the individual 11 case as well?
They are preventing us from investigating the attempt on the Prime Minister. That was a serious act of terrorism, and since we were the ones most...
Interesting how everything is, like, connected.
And it's the government who's behind this, and we're still gonna be biting the hand that feeds us.
Do you have a problem with it?
I've been waiting for you to say that.
I like how Section 9 is finding itself to be in this weird situation where they're kind of, like, stuck between a rock and a hard place, and they're still going to sit there and come up with their own plan on how to proceed because they are kind of looking out for themselves, for their own survival, rather than being a group that's just like, oh yeah, let's just do it for the greater good and, you know, whatever. No, they're going to look out for themselves, the greater good for themselves, because they know where they stand.
And now, the attempted assassination of the Prime Minister. However, the investigators came across another case in which there was a sighting of a possible suspect.
It's great that they're being able to connect all of these events together, too.
Shots have been fired into their building.
I mean, obviously, they all leave their calling card and stuff like that, but I remember at first they were kind of like, yeah, there's no connection to any of this stuff other than this calling card, but now they're taking that more serious.
Working as a cook at a Taiwanese vegetarian restaurant located near the Nanyo building about a month ago.
The Nanyo business building. Yeah, okay. Never mind. I'm sorry.
What do you want us to do with this guy, then?
To start with, take him into custody and look for anything significant.
Fuck him up.
Roger.
They're getting spread a little thin, it feels like. There's so many things to look into. Taking on Goda and the individual 11 at the same time.
This reminds me of the Laughing Man case, and if it's following the same pattern, then the original copycats would have been that psycho bunch who took over the Chinese embassy not too long ago, wouldn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Don't you remember, the intermediary who provides the motivation in a standalone type crime isn't necessarily the original.
Ugh! What the? This food is for cyborgs. It's gross.
Yeah, relax, it won't kill you. The only stuff it's made of is 90% gluten with a dash of amino acid-based micro machines.
Amino-based micro machines. Because he made it sound like it wasn't a big deal if someone who's mostly human ate that. I would assume it's better for cyborgs. But it's cool that it doesn't have any like bad side effects. At least he didn't make it sound that way.
Our stakeout isn't going to get any more efficient with just 3 touch comas.
Because that would be definitely interesting ground to traverse to make food for cyborgs, but then like make it safe enough for regular people to stumble upon and eat.
So from here on, it's kind of like we're able to do that astral projection thing. Yeah, this way we have the ability to go up and continue to observe data while our bodies stay put in the same.
When the heck did the Major upgrade them?
Don't know, but you gotta admit we have been shorthanded lately.
Now they're chipping all over their user interface.
Is Goda a senior thesis from when he was a student? Per the title, he puts forth that there's a tendency in our social structure for cyberbrains to instill a subconscious desire for collectivity. But in response to this, they create a leader as part of the system who will consciously control the subconscious of the masses.
Interesting.
It's a striking parallel, but according to the date on it, this thing was written a long time before that notorious incident took place.
That is kind of an interesting phenomenon for history to repeat itself, even if neither event is really inspired by each other. You know, maybe it's just human nature to think a certain way and to respond a certain way to certain events. Or I suppose that's why it's important to know your history, to study history. And I don't know how prevalent that is in school today, but that was always why we were being taught it, so that we don't obviously repeat the same mistakes. Because it seems like nowadays we continuously repeat that shit, no matter how bad it was before. We just seem to be going in circles. At least that's what I kind of feel like sometimes, is that like as far as like major events go, like we just keep making the same mistakes over and over again, thinking it's going to be different this time because it's different people, or you know, whatever.
Oh man, that looks good. I've hardly been home lately. I could use...
Does it though?
What you're drooling over is a mock eel dish that was created out of shiitake mushrooms and gluten.
Huh?
They look like mushrooms to me.
It plays with the flavor and texture of beans and mushrooms to imitate that of meat and fish. Fake food, it's the same kind of idea that went into that sandwich you didn't finish.
Hey, boss, don't tell me you get sentimental for the taste of the real thing, too.
Just because you're a cyborg doesn't mean that you stop craving things like that. That's precisely the reason why they make novelty food for people who are cyberized.
So then there's definitely, you know, even if you do get cyberized, and there's a lot of like these benefits that you can have, like you get special eyes, or you can hear things better, or you're no longer susceptible to certain diseases. But since you were human to begin with, and because of your human experiences, you end up craving things as a cyborg that you maybe not be able to experience again as a human.
As the answer? That's wrong.
And that's just like a conscious thought, or a burden that you carry, you know, as you live out your cybernetic life. I don't think I've ever really thought about that.
On the contrary, the thing that provoked the individualists is the 3 million refugees that are eating up our tax money.
Now we're talking.
If what you claim is true, we never should have taken them in to begin with. All the money from those taxes is vanishing into thin air under the pretext...
Goda's an interesting character that, yes, he's very smart and he orchestrates things, but he seems to be a very good observer of current events. And he's probably drawing inspiration from what people are saying and what the general vibe is in the air. I'm thinking he's thinking he can push events a certain way. If they're already kind of leaning that way, he like gives them a bigger nudge into that direction.
Tachkoma, run a match on that
You know, maybe if like these negative feelings towards the refugees to manifest in a bigger way and actually have more permanent damage rather than kind of just be on the cusp.
And the politician who supported reconciliation toward the refugees?
That's right. There is one
I'm just kind of spitballing here. I have no idea if anything I'm saying
made
is
no mention of in their press release.
like legit in the show, in the premise of the show.
Have you ever seen this logo?
How does he have it?
I think he's a member of a reporter group that I met with earlier. And the guy knows classified information about the individual 11 case.
What the hell's he talking about?
Individualists coincided with the GSDA helicopters circling in the skies above.
Wow, this guy knows a lot.
I hadn't considered this method of infection before.
So was that guy getting hacked and was saying what they want him to say?
Already manipulating Public Security Section 1, so I believe we'll be able to effect a purge soon.
Or infected, rather?
To kill the Prime Minister. We think he may be someone who went to the peninsula as part of a PKF. His name is Hideo Kuze.
Kuze's a bad motherfucker. Maybe they infected him, because I kept throwing that terminology around. They infected him, and maybe that's why he's saying all that stuff. And maybe he normally wouldn't say all that stuff. But then again, he also had the thing, the logo on him. That's a physical thing that he had. So it's the dudes in black, and they've been dropping off those logos or whatever. Okay, I think I'm kind of piecing it together. That guy was a reporter. He might have picked up that logo and did his thing. That looks so good.
They came to us and requested facial data because a hitman named Wang Chu-ren had stolen Kawashima's face and was hiding out in Chinatown.
Why didn't you tell me that earlier? Hurry up and get word to Bato and the others.
I'm already on it.
Oh, shit.
Mr. Bato, the subject just appeared in the alley behind the restaurant.
This country's too extravagant for refugees to live in. But it's not affluent enough to take them in.
What is going on here?
Wang Chu-ren, I presume?
Huh?
Oh, they took him out.
Take a good look at his face. He's got prosthetics, but that ain't one of them. What I'm saying, in other words, is that he ain't Wang Chu-ren.
Damn. Damn. That was crazy. So they were looking for that dude, but he wasn't the right guy? Because of the face swap? So one team thought he was... I'm actually kind of confused. Because Section 1, they were looking for that guy, but that guy has a face swap. Section 9 gets notified there was a face swap, so they try to protect that guy, while the other one was trying to kill the guy. Obviously, they succeeded. So they were like pitted against each other, basically. Was that like another setup from Goda? Just more, hence the fake food. The fake food reference. It looks like the real thing, but it's made of something different. So that guy was essentially a physical manifestation of the actual title of the episode and like what it means and like their explanation of the fake food and, you know, their observations of the vegan Buddhism food, you know, that kind of stuff. I can't say I completely have my mind wrapped around it because I was, you know, making some points and I'm sure I missed some shit as I was talking and whatnot, but so they got duped again. I was at least starting to piece together how that reporter had all that information because I know he got that symbol from the Men in Black. We'll just call them Men in Black for now. And so he must have gotten that and then was infected with information or given information, classified information on all the things that we've been dealing with so far that no one is supposed to know. And that guy just blaps it out on national television, which can't be good. But yeah, a lot of things going on. Section 9 is being spread thin. They gotta investigate 2-3 things at a time. And each one of those things are really elaborate. This is actually, I would say, it's interesting because their specialty is like information warfare, right? So, and that's kind of what they're taking on right now is kind of like a form of information warfare. And they're getting bested kind of like at their own game. So it's definitely interesting that, you know, first season they kind of got overpowered on a physical level, but now they're kind of, there's a little bit of that going on as far as like manpower, but like But more on the information side, they're just trying to figure out what the hell is going on, and they only have like the surface level going on right now. It feels like that's crazy. That's another good episode. Some good information there, and like there wasn't necessarily like that much action. That's fine, but there's a lot of good food for thought. No pun intended. But anyway, guys, that's it for me. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next episode and check this out. So, but guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.